Hello everybody, good morning, it's Monday, and I'm starting a new series of videos in the gaming world. Now I understand that my channel is only about a month old, a little bit over, and I've only got 60 or so subscribers, all naturally born. I haven't done any advertising. So these kind of videos where I'm going to talk about things, the theory and the science and the depth and fun and magic of gaming might not be tied to a particular topic that might generate new viewers. So as new members of my community, of my tribe, of us all getting together for this conversation about board games and what they mean in our life and all the information that goes with them, this might be a video that I've already thought in my mind I might do again in a year when there's more people to listen. So I've also cheating, right? I'm calling it the science of fun in board games, Marvel Zombies. So I am literally using Marvel Zombies as an example, and specifically Marvel Zombicide, as an example to talk about this topic of fun in games. And the question is, what makes a game fun? Now, I'm going to start doing reviews in this channel. Hold on. Now, I'm going to start doing reviews on this channel. And one of the questions I've been asking myself is what value I can give to you. What can I give to you? And in a review, what do people really want? I think you can sum it up in one way is, should I buy this? Right? There's another question you might have, which is, should I play this? Right? Stay away from it. Should I play it? Should I buy it? That's probably what every review is really looking for. Reviewer, sorry. That is probably what every review watcher is looking for, that kind of information. Now there's something more on top of it, right? Which is the art of it. The guy or the girl who is doing the review is hopefully entertaining and pleasing and is someone we want to get to know a little bit better and spend good time with. Okay? I've talked to you about that as well. So underneath that, however, should I buy it? Should I play it or should I not? What are we really talking about? And what I'm going to have you consider is that what we're talking about is fun, right? Why do we play board games? Because of fun. Now, I'm going to define fun here. I'm going to define it. It's not just a lighthearted fun. There's something to fun. There's a specific neurobiology of chemicals that dump in your head, and there are specific things that make something fun. And again, this fun is pretty broad. It's the real attractive reason that you want to play this game. And let me give you a specific example. Have you ever played a game and you're just sitting back and you're going, yeah, this is kind of fun, right? You kind of say that, or contrast that to a game that captures your attention. Like something about it, you're like, ooh, that was fun. Like that was something. Have you ever had a game where you said, that was something? This is the science of that, okay? This is what makes a game fun in that regard of, oh, that was something. Okay, so come along with me on the journey, and we'll use Marvel Zombies as an example. Okay, so right now, number one is curiosity. Okay, so is the game a topic that you enjoy? And so let's use Marvel Zombicide as an example. Number one, Marvel IP. Are you curious? Do you like Marvel IP? A lot of people out there, Marvel IP. They like that. That is something they like. I'm one of those people. I've told the story about my first comic book. It was Conan at a 7-Eleven right down the road here. And right next to it was this weird comic called Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. And I had a friend with me, and he bought a comic called Daredevil, right? And I had a third friend with me, and he said, oh, I'm a Spider-Man fan, but he didn't buy it. So I read my comic book, my little 50-cent comic book, my Conan, and I came back the next day and I saw that Spider-Man comic and I bought it. And it was number 99, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. And then came back a month later and got number 100. And then I just started collecting, and down in my basement are a ton of Marvel comics. And in fact, full disclosure, I ended up owning a comic book store. Yep, and then I expanded to 2 before I let that go and got into civil engineering. And those stores also were gaming stores, okay? So here we are. Marvel is a topic that I am curious about, right? And add to that, so I had this huge history of comics, all the X-Men, all of the Marvel. I wasn't so much a DC person, so Marvel is my topic, right? Now add on, in the last 15, 20 years, Marvel movies, and they've been fantastic, and I've enjoyed them. So this is an IP that I'm curious about. Now, I don't know if you're curious about it, but do you understand what I'm saying? This starts with curiosity, okay? Now, there's a second piece to it, right? Zombies, right? My wife is a zombie fan. Like, she watches The Walking Dead while she exercises. I think she's still watching it, still marching to that. Loves zombie movies. Me, not so much. Not the biggest zombie fan in the whole world, okay? But there you go, another entry of curiosity that makes something fun, okay? Now, there's a third piece, an overarching piece, which we're going to call board games, right? Do you like gaming? Do you like sitting and gaming as a general, very, very large umbrella topic, okay? So these are your entry points to fun, curiosities, what we like, theme. Now, there's also like the art. Does it look good? What are the mechanics, right? What is the mechanic of a zombie game? You know, you take heroes and you go through a city or a dungeon and you fight hordes of zombies. I'm not sure what they call that, right? But there's other games. Like there's worker placement games. There's Euro games. There's Ameritrash. There's Dudes on a Map game from the Axis and Allies days. There's Roll and Write. There's One Against Many. You know, there's Hidden Movement. There's all these genres, right? Okay, so those are all under the curiosity umbrella. And when you look at a game, you're looking for all of those things. Those are your entry points to having fun, which is the real thing you want to decide whether you're not going to play it, you're going to play it, or you're going to buy it, right? So your first entry point, this is the science, is curiosity. And what's happening in your brain, even though you might not know this, is that you're secreting small amounts of dopamine, okay, and other neurochemicals that are saying yes, the little squirts of joy around areas that are exciting to you. So for me, I played a lot of Zombicide, and even though I'm not a fan of zombies, I do like Zombicide. It's a fun game. My wife really likes it. Marvel, it's a board game. I have another little squirt of dopamine going on for me is that I've started this channel. And so I get an opportunity to share with you all about board games. And what was the biggest board game of 2022 so far this year? Marvel Zombies, a Zombicide game. So it was being part of the zeitgeist of the culture to talk about it, more dopamine, okay? Number one fun was curiosity. Okay, number two fun is passion. Here we are with passion. What we know about it. Can we learn more about it? Does it have pattern recognition and depth, right? So at first you're just curious about something and then you get to know it. So let me use Marvel Zombicide again. Number one, Marvel. I know a lot about the Marvel IP. I know about the different characters. I have tons of the collection. I've seen the movies. I have a breadth of knowledge, and it's become deeper than just curiosity. It's become a passion because I have knowledge specific to it, the history of it, the characters, how they interact. It's like in the new movies, the Tom Holland version of the Spider-Man movies, right? They've got Mary Jane in there, but they have a different actress for Mary Jane. She's not a redhead, right? So a lot of the people who knew the history of Mary Jane did not like her because she wasn't the redhead that we know from the comics. Things like that, where there's a depth of knowledge and history. Now, I'm not talking about the political correctness or incorrectness of changing Mary Jane. I'm just talking about the very specific passion that we have because we know something and we know it in depth. Okay, and we can start to connect the dots, right? Zombies. Some people know a lot about zombies. I don't know a lot about zombies, but I do kind of know like the rage zombies from, I think, those 28-day things to the slow shambling walkers. I know a little bit, right? Not really as caring much about that. But what I do know and do have a breadth of knowledge is Zombicide. The rules, how it works, the different versions of it. We have the first edition. Then we have Black Plague. Then we have Green Horde, which was really well. Then we did an Invader, a space version, right? And then we went and did a second edition. And then we did a few movie breakouts, you know, like Night of the Living Dead. I think they did a little one like that, just a one-shot. And then what else did they do? What? They did the Dead West, Undead or West. So they did Zombies in a Western situation, which I have on order. You've seen that video. If you haven't, I'll put a link below. And now they're doing what? Marvel Zombies. So there's a history and a knowledge of how these mechanics work, and I roll my 6-sided dice, and I search, and I try to not make noise. All that is part of the passion, okay? And that makes it fun, the more you know about that. Now, the third thing about passion is people, right? Now, right now you might say, and I know there's a world of solo gamers out there, okay? But I'm gonna shoot this down, the solo gaming thing. I'll show you how. I think, and have studied this, that if you can't share your passions and your curiosities with someone, right, then the fun is limited. You've got a certain cap on your fun. And these are the neurochemicals, because we're designed to share, right? And so let me use an example, Final Girl, okay? It's a great little solo game and everyone's excited about it. And I just did a video because I pledged on Final Girl Series 2. Here's the thing. You say, hey, Jason, that doesn't count. I play that game solo. I'm going to tell you something funny. I have had no less than 10 people, 10, I know, tell me, Final Girl is so great, you have to play this, Jason. Oh my gosh, you have to play this. So even a solo game, people want to share about it. That's another level of fun, right? Does it share well? Is there some competition? And is there a victory in it, right? A lot of people will say when they play with other people, I don't care. I just play for the fun. I don't care if I win or not. I've seen that person, and I bet you have too. You know, the quieter person at the table who's not super competitive and doesn't get weird and flip the table over and say, screw you all. You know, the kind of, I'm just here for fun. Here's the funny thing about that. Once in a while, and that person doesn't usually apply themselves very heavily to winning, but once in a while that person does win. And have you ever seen their face light up? Every time I've seen it, I've watched it. I'm a psychology coach. I've done a lot of this work, so I'm adding all this to put some context to where I'm getting all this knowledge. And guess what? They are overjoyed and thrilled to win, particularly because they don't do it so often. They still want to win and enjoy winning. And they'll tell you, no, I don't do it for winning. But when they win, they get excited. Because what happens when you win and people give you recognition, your brain rewards you. More dopamine, more serotonin, more oxytocin. So the third level of fun is, can you share it, and does it have a competitive edge, and can you get involved with other people? Can you share it with them, and can you compete with them? Okay, what's the fourth? You can always read ahead, but here we go, is autonomy. Does the game present you with freedom? Okay, let's go to Marvel Zombies up here. Does it share well? Obviously. It's a cooperative game, right? And it doesn't have to have competition, but it has competition against the zombies. So it's a cooperative, we all got to work together to survive game. Absolutely, that makes it more fun. Autonomy. Are there choices? Do you as a personal player have choices? And where you know this is important is if you've ever played a cooperative game and someone runs your character for you, and they're like, do this, do this, do this, what happens? What's natural? You don't have autonomy. You don't have freedom. And what happens when you don't have freedom or autonomy? You have less fun. Yep. Less chemical squirts of oxytocin, anandamide, norepinephrine, all of these, dopamine, serotonin. You just don't get as much because your freedom is taken away. So having an autonomy to make your own choices and decisions is very, very important to having fun in a game. So, does Marvel Zombies allow you to do that? Yes, the Zombicide system allows each individual person to play a character, an individual character who has individual characteristics, and make choices along the way. Do I kill that zombie and take myself into the yellow and make the game harder for everyone? Do I go left? Do I go right? When do I attack? What special abilities do I choose when I gain levels? There are a ton of choices and free choices in Marvel Zombicide that adds to the game. And you will, if you think about it, there's a lot of games out there that either up that choice factor, that make important choices, and you'll hear people say, I got to make choices. That's an upper. There's chemicals dumping in your head that makes that a funner game. The less choices you have, the more railroaded you feel, no matter how passionate you are, no matter what great people you're sharing, no matter the theme is great, you're going to have less fun. Science. Okay, then there's mastery. Okay, mastery. Can you get good at the game? Is it a game where if you apply yourself, you can get good, right? any game or any actual thing you do in life where you start to apply yourself and get incrementally better at it, your dopamine system of reward and risk is going to increase. So your intrinsic motivators to do this thing are going to go up. So a game that kind of flatlines on mastery, you can't get better, it's just like, it's just what it is not going to capture the attention of as many people. It's not going to be as fun. You're not going to be intrinsically motivated to do it. Now, I've been playing Zombicide for a while, and for me, this mastery limit is lower than I would like it be. There is a level of mastery that you can get. You know which characters to choose. You know which order to go in the play. You know what to do and what not to do. You learn it pretty quick, and you can master it. So that is satisfying to master it, but there does seem to be a ceiling in the Zombicide game of how much you can keep playing. And this is something you'll see when you talk to people about Zombicide. They play it through, they play the scenarios, they love it, and they'll bring it out once in a while, but it kind of dies on the vine. People love the game, but then they kind of burn out on it. And the reason they're burning out is that the level of specific improvement and depth to be found in the game is capped. So they like it for a while, and they get really good at it, and then they'll try the next one, and they'll try the next one, and it kind of reaches a bounce. Now, one of the things that they're doing with Marvel Zombies is they're letting you play as the zombies. So how do we master that? How do we get good at that? Because it's a totally new system. And how do we play as the heroes with actual hero abilities? So each version of the game, they try to put wrinkles in it, which is wise to make it more difficult to give away. One, more first curiosity. Second, more information to learn. And down here under mastery, right? Something to get better at, right? It's not the same game, okay? Fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever it is. Let's count them out. Let's do it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Goals. Are targets involved? The human brain functions best when it can look out into a field and go, that's it. I want to go there. And of course, the Zombicide game really plays into that, right? Because each scenario has a goal. Do this. And so that makes a game more fun. Have you ever wandered in a game and there's, you can just do whatever you want? I know that there are some games that do that, and some people kind of like that. But in terms of your internal wiring as a human, evolutionarily speaking, get all those neurochemicals lined up for you to want to do something, to get really intrinsically motivated, to do it again and again and again, to have more and more fun, right? You need targets. A game without targets is usually just not a game. It's just a pastime. And that can be satisfying itself, but you're not as driven towards it with your neurochemical structure, okay? So are there goals? And finally, grit. Is it difficult? Does it sometimes cause you to have to bear down and get your crap together and figure something else and power through bad things? If a game can challenge you, if it can put you on the edge and make you think, I could die, I could fail, that will instill, humans are weird, but let me tell you about the science of it. Humans will either quit at that moment, right? They just go, oh, this is too much, I quit. Or they rise and they go, I've got to do better. And when you do that, rise, I got to do better, there's more chemicals dumping in your system that feel good. The feel-good chemicals, again, of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, anandamide, norepinephrine, and some adrenalines. It's not adrenalines, it's endorphins. Sorry, endorphins. Let's get all these chemicals right. And they're basically feel-good chemicals in your head that say what? They all have one kind of general thing, is that they say, do more. They tell your brain, do more, do more. And when we have the most fun, we want to do it again. Let me do it again, okay? So when you are under a challenge and failure is imminent, you sometimes get a clarity of focus and do more, do more. So now there's some other things all in there, and there's a lot of other ways to look at this, but this is the structure and the frame under which I was thinking of sharing with you. Again, I know that this is early in the life of this channel. It's a month old. There's only 60 or 70 subscribers. I don't even know how many people are actually going to watch this. I am cheating by putting it under the Marvel Zombies heading, and I'll put it under there. So maybe people will go, the science of fun and board games, Marvel Zombies, what does that mean? And hopefully some people will find this to be interesting intellectually or emotionally, and what it will do also is that it will create a frame for my reviews as they start to come up. What makes the game curious? Is there passion involved? Can it share well? Does it give you a lot of good choices? Can you get better at it? Are there goals, clear, defined goals? And is it challenging? Okay. Now there's a lot, like some people might say, well, I just like to hang out with people. Well, that's part of the social thing. Is there a social thing? And we can get, have you ever just had friends over and you have a drink at night and maybe you spend time just talking about things that you both find interesting, and then the conversation deepens and you talk about things that you both have knowledge or you're learning from each other, and there's a shared sociality. So you've got chemicals going for that, right? And if you both all get opportunities to speak, right? There's some autonomy. And do you learn? Are you getting smarter? The best conversations over that wine glass, right? Are when you're learning something and you're going, I see something differently, right? And sometimes some of the best conversations, you emerge from them with new goals. Like, I learned something today, boom, I'm setting a target, I'm going for it, right? And some conversations will challenge you. Sometimes you'll be faced with some of the things that you believe the most were wrong, and you have to challenge and get through it. Or sometimes the material is so complex that you really have to apply your brain. You have to focus and concentrate. You concentrate, you break through all the turbulence, or break through all the noise that bullets, and you achieve a flow of understanding. So even this works in conversations, even conversations. Okay, everybody, I hope this was fun to you. This is a frame, and this is a way of looking at what makes something fun. And it also helps me create reviews in a way that actually speaks to what you truly want, which is this intrinsic line of motivational fun drivers, right? And above that, once you get that, then you have to make the decision of, do I play it, right? If it's not going to be fun, I'm not going to play it for the most part. Do I play it because it will be fun? And then the third step would usually be, do I own the game? Now, when you want to buy the game, that usually means you like it more. Not always, right? You might just have a friend, might be your favorite game in the whole world, but your friend owns it and you play with him, so or her, and you never have to buy it. But generally, the ownership piece, when you pay money for it, are you willing to pay money for something? You usually aren't willing to pay money for something that doesn't pay you back in fun. Okay? Everybody, I enjoy having these conversations. I don't know if anyone's going to watch this. I'm okay with that. I also understand that we're in the beginning stages of this conversation, Jason and you. And so I always invite you a couple things to make comments down below, and I answer them. And I like long comments, and I love the conversation about your curiosities, passions, and people. Tommy, let's have a conversation. I love meeting new people. This game channel isn't just about information. It's about the fun and the passion of me and you getting to know each other and conversing as real people. Like, I'm looking straight into this camera, but I'm feeling you out there. And I know that may sound new agey or hokey, but I really am feeling the whole world out there of people who love this game. And there's something about gaming which is with its sociality, thank you, with its sociality, but there's a depth to it. It's more than just us getting together and challenging yourself in a surface level thing. A lot of people think gaming is surface, but there's actually a depth to it. And I hope this discussion helped you discover some of the depths and why you like it and why you like certain things over others.